What would it be like to be a rock legend that has experienced both the highest highs and the lowest lows in their career? You have gathered millions of dollars along the way, developed an empire of music, and made history with a band that is as iconic as it is turbulent. On the other hand, behind all of that celebrity is a man who is suffering with addiction, health difficulties, and a rock star lifestyle that is relentless and threatens to consume him. Not through additional tours, records, or crazy antics, but rather through the quiet but powerful influence of Sharon Osbourne, the woman who would become his wife, manager, and guiding light. This is the point at which the story of Ozzy Osbourne is altered for all time. However, Sharon was not the only person that assisted Ozzy in locating his way back. The Osbournes, along with their children Amy, Kelly, and Jack, were responsible for reshaping Ozzy's life and career. They transformed him from a rock and roll victim into an enduring figure of perseverance. In this video, we will go further into the ways in which Sharon and the children played a significant part in Ozzy's survival and his remarkable comeback. This family helped redefine Ozzy's legacy and demonstrated that the greatest rock artist of all time was never alone in his fight. They did this by being there for him during his darkest days and by becoming an unexpected television sensation. It was turmoil, irresponsibility, and persistent ambition that laid the foundation for Ozzy Osbourne's success in the music industry. Prior to embarking on a solo career, Ozzy had already established his position as a prominent figure in the annals of rock history through his role as the frontman of Black Sabbath. Nevertheless, in spite of his success, his life outside of music was in a complete state of disarray. His personal difficulties, which included addiction, depression, and reckless behavior, were spiraling out of control, and they posed a threat to everything that he had worked extremely hard to achieve. At precisely this momentous time, Sharon Osbourne made her entrance into his life. Ozzy was introduced to Sharon when she was still a teenager. At the time, Sharon was working for her father, Don Arden, who was a well-known music manager in the United Kingdom. Sharon came to the realization very quickly that Ozzy possessed a singular skill that was raw and electric, but was in dire need of direction. When it came to Sharon, on the other hand, Ozzy was equally captivated by her acute intelligence, no-nonsense demeanor, and unwavering loyalty. In a short period of time, the two individuals evolved into something more than just business colleagues. It was in 1982 when Sharon became Ozzy's manager, which was a pivotal moment in both of their careers. Sharon began to reorganize Ozzy's career despite the instability that surrounded his drugs and reckless actions. Sharon's skills and strategic thinking provided the foundation for this transformation. It was not only her role as Ozzy's manager that made her the calming factor that he required. She was also someone who knew the difficulties that he was experiencing. The profound love that Sharon had for Ozzy was made abundantly clear as she helped him navigate through some of the most difficult times in his life. She was not only responsible for managing his profession, but she also became his guardian, his confidante, and ultimately as his wife. It was obvious that Sharon was the one person that Ozzy could rely on when everything else seemed to be falling apart. Their connection was built on both professional and emotional grounds, and it was plain that his relationship with Sharon was built on both. The crazy antics, substance abuse, and erratic conduct that Ozzy displayed made him a liability in the eyes of many people working in the music industry, which led to the career of Ozzy being on the verge of disintegrating. Despite this, Sharon was resolute in her quest to make things better. She saw in Ozzy not only a damaged rock star, but also an outstanding artist whose potential had been wasted over the course of many years of excess. Sharon began by polishing Ozzy's reputation as the first step in her process. In addition to reorganizing his schedule and priorities, in order to place a greater emphasis on his health and well-being, she stopped him from interacting with the individuals and circumstances that made his addiction possible. Ozzy was able to regain his focus on his music with the assistance of Sharon, and the two of them started working together on Blizzard of Oz, the album that would not only save his career, but also take it to extraordinary heights. Sharon's keen business acumen and her everlasting faith in her husband's abilities contributed to the economic success of Ozzy's debut solo album. Sharon continued to believe in her husband's abilities, but Sharon did not depart from that point. She made use of her power to negotiate better arrangements for Ozzy, which not only enabled him to maintain creative control over his work, but also ensured that he would have a prosperous future financially. She put in a lot of hard work behind the scenes, getting endorsements and merchandising deals, and increasing Ozzy's reach outside the realm of music alone. Sharon was aware that Ozzy's legacy needed to be defined by more than simply his music, and she realized that gaining money was not the only thing that mattered. Her collaboration with Ozzy resulted in the creation of a brand and a persona that were able to endure the test of time. This was successful. As a result of Sharon's efforts, Ozzy had established himself not just as a renowned musician, but also as a well-liked public figure by the beginning of the 2000s. Sharon's contributions were undoubtedly significant. Ozzy's career took an unexpected turn in the early 2000s when he launched The Osbournes, a reality television program that would revolutionize the way the world viewed the Osbourne family. This show was set to change the way people regarded the Osbourne family. What was at first considered to be a brief experiment in the realm of reality television swiftly evolved into a phenomenon that has become widespread in culture. The popularity of the show was a testament to Sharon's vision, as she was aware that the public was intrigued by the dynamic of the family and the tumultuous yet charming relationships that existed between Ozzy, Sharon, and their children. The show provided viewers with a glimpse inside Ozzy's family life, revealing a side of the rock icon that was rarely seen before, a side that was vulnerable, humorous, and at times shockingly loving. Ozzy's public image had previously been characterized by his reckless behavior. However, the reality show gave viewers the opportunity to witness a more personal side of the rock legend. She was the glue that held everything together, giving a secure foundation for Ozzy and their children. Sharon's function as the matriarch of the family was equally as important as the other roles she played. Ozzy and Sharon's children, Kelly, Jack, and Amy, each reached their own level of success and became celebrities in their own right. Each of them followed their own unique route to achievement. After originally being well known for her defiant behavior during her teenage years, Kelly went on to become an outspoken advocate for the understanding of mental health issues and for body positivity. Jack, who was born with a natural talent for being on screen, went on to become a prominent producer and host on television. Music was something that Amy pursued on her own, despite the fact that she sought to avoid the spotlight for the entire time. Undoubtedly, Sharon had a significant impact on their offspring. They learned from her the significance of putting in a lot of effort, maintaining a grounded attitude, and never taking themselves too seriously. Additionally, she encouraged them to pursue their own hobbies and chart their own pathways, thereby providing them with the liberty to investigate their interests without the burden of having to live in the shadow of their parents. Despite the fact that Ozzy was the main attraction, it was Sharon's courageousness, sagacity, and leadership that ultimately carried the family through life. It was impressive that she was able to successfully strike a balance between her work life as a manager and television personality and her roles as a mother and a wife. In the course of her life, she became the cornerstone upon which the Osbourne family legacy developed. Over the course of their journey together, the Osbourne family provided Ozzy with an incredible amount of strength when he was going through difficult times in his personal life. Ozzy was never forced to confront his demons by himself, whether he was struggling with addiction or coping with health problems. Ozzy was involved in a terrible accident involving an all-terrain vehicle, ATV, in the year 2003, which resulted in his suffering significant injuries such as shattered ribs, a fractured collarbone, and a severely damaged back. This was a potentially fatal situation that could have put a stop to his professional existence. Nevertheless, Ozzy's family, and Sharon in particular, remained at his side throughout his recuperation. Sharon played a crucial part in assisting Ozzy in overcoming the physical and emotional suffering he was experiencing. She gave him the strength and support he required in order to get back on his feet without any assistance. In spite of the injuries he sustained, Ozzy remained adamant about making a comeback to the stage, and Sharon's unfailing faith in him was important in helping him restore his self-assurance. Despite the fact that he believed he was unable to continue, she prodded him to keep going. Ozzy was able to make a remarkable recovery and continue traveling with the assistance of Sharon, which contributed to the establishment of his reputation as one of the most resilient individuals in the history of rock music. There is no possible way to overstate the impact that the Osbourne family has had on Ozzy's life and career. Sharon's unwavering commitment to her husband's achievement, her ability to think strategically, and her unrelenting work ethic were all factors that assisted him in navigating through both personal and professional challenges. Beyond that, however, it was Sharon's love and support that brought about the most significant change in Ozzy's life. Sharon Osbourne remained the center of the Osbourne family even after her children Kelly, Jack, and Amy each made their own unique contribution to the legacy of the Osbourne family. She was the glue that held everything together, providing Ozzy and their children with a foundation that was stable and caring. As a unit, the Osbourne family has not only endured the turbulent times that have been associated with Ozzy's career, but they have also flourished. Their narrative is one of tenacity, love, and the strength that comes from having a family. A testament to the influence that Sharon and their children had on Ozzy's life is the fact that he went from being a rock star to becoming a family guy. By assisting him in navigating the highs and lows of his career, they molded Ozzy Osbourne into a figure of redemption and tenacity in the face of hardship. This was accomplished by the assistance that they provided. While Ozzy continues to rock and roll, it is abundantly evident that his family will never leave his side and will continue to provide him with support as he moves forward into the next phase of his legendary career. The legacy of the Osbourne family is not solely about Ozzy's music or his fame as a rock star. Rather, it is about the love, devotion, and tenacity that have kept him going for all of these years.